सर ने नया मीटिंग स्टार्ट कर दिया है।
ओके गुड आफ्टरनून सर
Yeah, good afternoon, good afternoon. So, we have given a good article to 4 students. Let us see how they have gone through it, and it's a case study. It's a case study on Midwest University. Midwest University is an university in the state of Missouri. It is at Wentzville. Z is silent there. Z is pronounced as saw. Wentzville, Wentzville. It is to the extreme left of the state of Missouri, USA. So let us hear how they have planned to present the article. It's a good article published in a very standard journal. IEEE Transaction is a very standard journal. You all should have a dream to get one article of yours published in such a good journal in your lifetime. It's a very good journal. To publish an article in this type of journal is really hard, is really difficult. So have the dream at least that yes, I can do, I can publish similar type of work. So to give a flavor of the type of work people do on service-oriented architecture, how people are working, what type of research is going on. A case study has been presented in this article. So let us hear. Everybody should go through it so that you all interact. Not that it is the job of the 4 students, it is the job of Jitendra, it is the job of Mahendra, it is the job of Rakesh, it is the job of everybody. Because to ask question, if you go through it sincerely, then only you can ask question to your friends. Not that it is their job only. It is the job of everybody to collectively study and understand and have a dream to publish an article like this in future, in your lifetime. It's a very good journal. Have a look at the quality of the journal. Okay, so let us start. Who is going to start? Let us hear how they are planning, how they are presenting. Yes.
Good afternoon, sir. I'm going to start presenting.
Oh, good. Andrila starts the presentation. Good. Use the pointer. Yes.
Okay, I hope my screen is visible to all.
Yes.
Okay,
Very
sir.
nice. Yeah.
Okay. So this we are going to present a presentation based on the research paper, the IEEE research paper towards the service-oriented development through a case study. So the organization of the presentation goes like this, that we have 7 different points. We have identified seven different points in the entire article, and we have divided the content among 4 of us. So serially, we are going to present every point. Okay, so I'm going to give an introduction and also the case study context for this article, and after that the further slide or the further content will be carried forward by my fellow batchmates. Okay, so first to give an introduction to today's presentation, this as a case study, there were 4 researchers who performed a case study and came up with this research paper. So as a case study, the researchers reported on a project aiming at constructing a web service of pass-through authentication, or called PTA, to support online payment or e-payment applications. Okay, so we all use e-payment applications nowadays. That's in Digital India, that's the best thing we can say. Like we have payment, we have Paytm, we have GPay, we have PhonePe. So all of us nowadays use e-payment applications. So this just to give an introduction, so what we are going to deal with in this project or in this case study is about e-payment applications, and how in existing e-payment applications the concept of web-based SOA-based web service got introduced, how web service is going to make an impact in this in these existing applications. Okay. The goal of this project is twofold. One is to integrate a PTA service into each deployed legacy e-payment application. Okay, so what this service is or what it exactly does, we are going to see in the upcoming slides. But just for introduction, we are going to integrate a PTA service into the existing or the legacy e-payment applications. And also the other goal is to design a reusable PTA web service so that it will become an integral part of future e-payment applications. Because we all know that web services should be reusable. So how it can be made reusable so that it can be used later on into future e-payment applications. So that also we are going to see. Aim of the case study. This case study intends to investigate how the concept of web services can benefit the design of our PTA service and e-payment applications, and how to transform from an application-oriented architecture towards a web services-based SOA. At the beginning, 3 specific research questions were identified. So the researchers who started this case study, who started working on this case study, they identified 3 questions for themselves. One is, how will the project benefit from the concept of web services? Second is a new web service based SOA needed? And third is, how can an application oriented architecture be migrated to a web service based SOA? That's the most important thing. Like we have an application because we have seen in software architecture also that we have based on different architectures, we have applications, but how can we introduce the concept of web service into it? So we'll try to find out the answers in the upcoming slides. Okay, so before we dig deeper into this, what is PTA? So PTA is basically single sign-on or SSO. So many of us might have already heard about it, and even if we didn't, that's not a big deal. SSO or single sign-on is an authentication process that allows a user to access multiple applications with one set of login credentials. Means once we are logged in, we do not have to log in into every application linked to the system. We have examples for this in the upcoming slides. The PTA web service will have the following 3 major functionalities: providing a PTA service. Second is to allow a client administrator to register and update authentication criteria. Third is to function as a web service front end to our e-payment backend servers. So moving on to PTA. A typical and good example of SSO is Google. So we all are very much familiar with Google services or the Google products like Gmail, YouTube, Google Drive, Google Maps. All these are different applications of Google. So whenever we have first time, suppose I'm a completely new user of Google, I have never been into any Google application. So first time, if I am creating a Gmail account, when I'll be asked to create a Google account, right? Now, once I log in into Gmail, if whenever I try to access Google Maps or Google Drive or YouTube, I will be automatically logged into those products of Google as well. So this we have seen in our very own real lives. So that is a best example of SSO or single sign-on. How does this happen? SSO usually makes use of a central service which orchestrates the single sign-in between multiple clients, which in case of Google is Google accounts. So once we are logged in into Gmail, we'll be able to log in into YouTube, we'll be able to log in into Google Drive, Google Maps or Google Photos or anything, YouTube, anything. So how does that happen? That happens because for the first time we had created a Google ID. We had put in our password and created a Google account. So that Google account acts as the service which orchestrates the I mean the login process into the other applications of Google as well. So this is SSO in its simplest form, and this is and the same thing is this PTA. PTA we are going to use in the context of online e-payment applications, but just to give a real life example of, like, we all use Google in our everyday life. So I took this example of what an SSO is and how it works. Second, another important application of SSO. Also, while navigating a web app or website, often we need to sign in. Without creating any new account with that new app or site, we can log in using our existing accounts, such as Google account or Facebook account. Okay, so you see here I have picked up an example. Quora is a popular site. Okay, I have taken a screenshot of the login page. Now, when we try to log in into this app, I mean, this is just an example. Like nowadays, every site almost requires a login. Like we are asked to log in or create an account and then log in, right? So most of the times we'll see we are given options like continue with Google or continue with Facebook. So what is this? So this is basically we are going to use an authentication service of Google or Facebook. We don't need to create a separate account on that particular website or application, whatever. So we can do that. Obviously, we have the option of creating our own account into it and then logging in using those credentials. But we also have the option of authenticating ourselves using our Google ID or our Facebook ID. So this is also SSO or single sign-on, which means if if we hold a Google account, that means we have a Google authentication service associated with us, and that Google authentication service will help us to log in into any other application that invokes this particular service. Okay, so yeah, so given on the right is the image of a login page on the popular Quora website. However, without creating a specific account for the site, we can log in into it using the third-party authentication service of Google or Facebook, and also without having our user password exposed, also without having our user password exposed to the site invoking the authentication service. So it's just that the application, in this case it's Quora, this application will just be invoking the service which has been offered by Google or Facebook, and that service is nothing but the SSO web service. Okay. So SSO is thus a user authentication service that lets a user use one set of login credentials like a username and password for multiple applications, and those applications can be directly associated with the web service, as in the case we have seen for Google applications. All those come under Google only, is built into the Google system, but those are different applications associated with the Google system, but we can log in with one ID using that Google accounts as a web service. But here we see we can also we can also log in into other applications by using third-party authentication services as of Google or Facebook. So nowadays we have many other authentication services like LinkedIn, then many other authentication services there nowadays. Okay. So coming back to why do we need PTA? So coming back in the context of now that we understood what is an SSO or what is a PTA, we are getting back into the context of our case study. The e-payment system was originally designed as a standalone web application that can be customized and deployed at different organizations. Like we have Paytm, we have GPay, we have PhonePe. So all these are standalone mobile applications, obviously. So the e-payment system that was considered for this particular case study, that was also designed as a standalone web application, which can be later customized and deployed in different organizations. Our requirement is, so what are we exactly trying to achieve? When any user is on any organization's website, if the user is signed on to the original e-payment system, then the user will automatically obtain access into the e-payment system from that organization system without requiring to visit the login page of the e-payment system from the organization's website. Just to simplify in very simple words, if I am suppose on any on any shopping website. Okay, now when I'm buying something, suppose I'm on any shopping online website. If I'm trying to make a payment, if I'm already logged in through Paytm or maybe GPay, I should be able to uh, make the payment from that organization's website itself without requiring me to again visit Paytm and then make the payment. So that's the most simplified view of this. Like, I don't need to get back into Paytm and then do the things from my very website where I'm making the purchase. From there itself, I should be able to use Paytm and then make the payment. So that's how. So what happens here is that my the original website or the shopping portal wherever I am, that is making use of a web service that will connect with the Paytm application and help me to perform my or to help me to place the order on and make the like payment things. Okay, so this is what our basic requirement is. Now, advantages of PTA. So the PTA, so this is like an elaboration of why we need PTA in this already existing online application, online payment application, why we are needing PTA. A technique is required to synchronize the user information stored in the e-payment system with the organization side. So obviously, if already I have a existing e-payment system such as Paytm, okay, now my Paytm, whatever data is there related to me or the user, that has to be synchronized into the shopping portal, right? So for that, I need some service. So that service will be offered by PTA. Second, the e-payment system can be plugged into a legacy system of an organization as a third-party component to process real-time payment transactions if so desired. So it's not just that I can make use of the existing application, I can also use it as a plugin service. Like I can plug on the whatever organizations, whatever purchase system or whatever website I am on, I can plug in the service also into my website and make use of the services. Third, organizations have more flexibility to choose to adopt either a standalone e-payment system or a plug-in e-payment service or both. So when we are using web services, we have all the options with us. Like I can directly pay from Paytm. I can also go to the website and go to the shopping website and make the payment from there. Or also I can make the I can make the process such that I can integrate it as a plugin service into my application. So I have the flexibility when I'm using a web service, I have that flexibility to implement it in any way I want to. Fourth advantage, PTA facilitates the scheme of e-payment applications to shift to an ultimate ASP model or application service provider, where a central e-payment server, normally a dedicated third-party web hosting place, handles online payment transactions for different organizations. Okay, this is like all the if I have a service and I don't have an explicit service that's specific to my organization, okay, it's like I have a company which has online payment application that that company itself hosts all the services on its server. Okay, so what happens, if I am just taking the service of that company, I won't have to bear any headache related to the maintenance of the services. First of all, I don't have to uh, it can be related to the maintenance also, or it can be related to the future upgradations also. Yeah, right. So it's given here. Although in the long run, organizations spend more money, they benefit from no resource consumption on maintenance and easier future upgrade for the e-payment system. As we can see in this diagram, this particular is what used to happen earlier. Like the company which is the you can see the company, suppose the online shopping site, that company itself is having its own e-payment application. In that case, it has to take care of its own application and whatever, I mean, related to maintenance and related to the resource employment, everything. But if I'm taking the service, see here, there are different companies. Okay, these are different organizations. They are using the services of some e-payment company. In that case, they don't have to spend any resource on the maintenance. Also, if there is some service upgradation on this online e-payment application, then I don't have to even care about what is going on at the back end. I can just get the upgraded service. Okay, this three explicit servers we are seeing, because it's nothing that special. It's like we can have it on different physical servers, but what matters is that it has been hosted by the same company and it's been taken care of by the company who owns that web service or that online e-payment application. Fifth, delivering access to the e-payment service in the ASP manner allows small to medium enterprises to eliminate the time and costs associated with the customization, installment, deployment, maintenance, and management of their own e-payment applications. So obviously, if I'm a small or a large, medium-sized company, I don't have to have my own e-payment application. I can just take the service that is already existing. Sixth, no data integration and synchronization is needed between the e-payment systems and the original organization systems, since our e-payment systems only need to verify that a request is originated from a trustworthy source or the organization. So whatever organization, or I mean, whatever organization is requesting or invoking the web service, my web service will only just verify whether the request is coming from that a trustworthy source or not. There is no further requirement in data integration or synchronization, or no further requirements are there. Just I need to know that the whoever is, because obviously we are sharing user data, right? So it has to be from a trustworthy source. So validating that is just sufficient for me to provide my service to that requesting company. Okay, so the whole project.
Let me interrupt. Andrila,
Yes,
let someone else also join. Okay.
Yes, sir. I am about to finish my part, and after this, Rishabh will be continuing.
Okay. So you have divided among all your 4 friends, everything?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. 4 of us are going to present on 4 different parts.
Okay. Go ahead. Okay.
The whole project is divided into 3 stages: end-to-end integration stage. The goal of this stage is to develop the PTA functions and add them to the legacy e-payment system. So whatever existing e-payment system I have, how I can develop a PTA service for that and add those into my legacy system. So that is the first stage of the project. Second stage, web services enabled stage, to increase the reusability and flexibility of the PTA service component, and administration module was constructed. And third is web service oriented stage, to construct a PTA service component into a standalone web service. So all these 3 stages are going to be elaborated now by Rishabh. So I request him to carry forward with this.
Good presentation, very good presentation by Andrila, very well spoken. Okay, so whenever you present, all the time give reference to the articles. Okay, don't present blindly. Always put reference at the end so that people can think that yes, you have cross-referred the different articles at the same time. Okay, you will learn slowly. Slowly after you reach here, you will learn how to present it. Okay, go ahead, Rishabh. Yeah, go ahead.
Good evening, sir. Is it visible?
Yeah, it's visible. Make it full slide. Yes. Bring
Okay,
the
so
pointer. Bring the laser pointer. Yeah. Yes.
so towards the service-oriented development through a case study. So the introduction part. So the introduction part has been introduction and the context of the case study has been discussed by the Andrila. So my part here is to discuss the case study itself. So as a case study, a project aiming at constructing a web service of pass-through authentication, that is a PTA, to support online payment applications. So the goal of this project has been discussed by the Andrea itself. So I will not discuss that. So this case study intends to investigate how the concept of web services can benefit the design of our PTA services and e-payment applications, and how to transform from an application-oriented architecture towards a web services-based SOA. So we will divide this process of transforming from application-oriented architecture to the web services-based SOA. We will divide that process in 3 parts. So those three, so at the beginning, as discussed by Andrela, we have identified some of the 3 specific research questions, that how will the project benefit from the concept of web services. So, and the other question is that, is a new web service based SOA really needed? So, and how can an application oriented architecture be migrated to a web service based SOA? So the very third question, that how can an application oriented architecture be migrated to a web services based SOA, will be attended here. So we'll see the solution to that question in this PPT. So PTA simply stands for pass-through authentication. We will report our case study in accordance with how a PTA service is developed and integrated with an e-payment system. So the whole project is divided in 3 main stages, that is end-to-end integration stage, then web services enabled stage, and then finally we will go on to the web services oriented stage. So the very first stage of the case study, that is PTA service, is end-to-end integration. So the goal of the first stage of the project was to develop PTA functions and add them to the legacy e-payment system. So here we are going in embedding the PTA service directly onto the e-payment service, the e-payment functionality that is used by the website. Let's say Amazon or Flipkart, whoever is using our e-payment system, we will embed, end-to-end integrate that PTA service onto that e-payment service. So so it is our first implementation. We implemented the PTA algorithm and integrated it into the original e-payment system. The redeployed integrated e-payment system thus became a customized self-contained application. So we have customized our e-payment system and integrated it with the PTA service. So now we have integrated 2 of the functionalities within a single service. So the issues of these strategies are apparent. The reusability and extensibility of the PTA part were low, because the codes were mixed with the e-payment system and the interfaces between them were not well defined. So we have for a given e-payment system, we have customized and designed particularly our PTA service. So this shows the tight coupling of the system. So we don't want that in SOA based system. We move towards the loosely coupled system. So this is our first implementation towards when we want to move towards SOA based architecture. So this is our first implementation. We have tried that and we found that these are the issues, that the reusability and extensibility of the PTA part is low. So our ultimate goal is to build a generic PTA web service that can be used by any of the systems. So we will move forward and we will enhance our first implementation, and this is our second implementation. The second engagement is similar to the first one, which goal is to add the PTA service to another legacy e-payment system. We decided to construct a PTA service component. So in the corresponding design, the original e-payment system acts as a backend supporting system for the PTA service component. The PTA service component serves as a gate for the backend e-payment application, replacing the original login process. So let's say whenever in the older system, when we are accessing the e-payment system, whenever we click on the link for the e-payment system, we will be forwarded to the login page of that. So in this system, rather than going for the login page, we will be forwarded to the PTA service. So PTA service will authenticate and we will directly move forward to the e-payment system rather than going for the login page. So instead of embedding a uniform resource locator, that is a URL, in the website of the organization to simply redirect it to the login page of the e-payment system, the organization generates an HTTPS request and sends it to the PTA service component. So here we can see that there are two scenarios that an organization may request services from the PTA component. One is to pass through user credential authentication, and the other one is to pass through transaction authentication. To match two scenarios, the PTA service component consists of two functional subcomponents, that is a PTA user component and another one is the PTA transaction component. So based on the incoming HTTPS request, the PTA service component will decide which subcomponent it will invoke. So let's say if we have to authenticate a PTA user, we have to authenticate a user, whether it is an authorized user or not. So it will invoke the PTA user subcomponent, and when we are trying to pass skip the transaction process, the transaction login ID password, then it will invoke the PTA transaction subcomponent. So the issues in the second attempt. Are each such PTA service component is tightly coupled, as we have discussed. This first approach is first stage is finding a solution that is tightly coupled. Then we will move forward. Then we will see us in the stage 2, that is moderately coupled, and then we will forward to the third stage where we have completely moved forward to the loosely coupled system, that is SOA-based system. So the component is tightly coupled with the corresponding e-payment system. Since every deployed e-payment system is different, this strategy decreases the reusability of newly constructed PTA service. So since every deployed e-payment system are of different kinds, and we have to design PTA services according to them. So this decreases the reusability of our PTA service. So whenever our e-payment system in the background are same, we can reuse the PTA service. But when they are not same, we can't reuse that PTA service. We have to customize that. We have to either we have to customize that or we have to rebuild that PTA service for that e-payment system. So, and another issue arising from this architectural model between a PTA component and an e-payment system is flexibility. The order of the parameter values on which to perform the hash algorithm is imperative. So the order and the list of parameter values are normally predefined and hard coded into the PTA component. So I have not included that code part because it was lengthy. So let's say if there was a HTTPS request and we have to pass on the user ID, then and along with that we have to pass on the hash code also. So the hash code will do that. It will be passed on to the PTA service. PTA service will use that hash code to verify whether the user is authenticated, authorized or not. So in this kind of PTA service, the second type of implementation, here the hash code has to be hard coded into that component. So, but we don't want that because let's say if different services use different kind of hash coding, so we don't want to hard code them. So it decreases the flexibility. As a result, the PTA service component cannot be easily reused for different e-payment applications. So now we will move forward to the second stage. So here we are moving forward from end-to-end integration towards web services enabled stage. So it is not complete.
Recep, just 1 minute. Always put some on the right hand side, some sort of figure. You can as well some sort of algorithm, yes, like this.
Yes,
so
sir.
that what is that hash algorithm? Some sort of little bit of its algorithm. What is that? How they something to make it impressive that this is the hash algorithm and it helps in this direction. Something, yes. Only text doesn't attract the viewers' attention. Always put something. Here you could have done that hash algorithm. Something. Okay?
Yes,
Try
sir.
to learn. Try to learn. Right hand side should be, it has to be divided into two halves. Left half is text, right half is some sort of picture. And explain that picture. Not that picture is for others. Explain the picture also simultaneously. Learn it. Okay. Learn
Yes,
it
sir.
slowly. Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
So the second stage is web services enabled stage. So from end-to-end integration, we have moved forward to the web services enabled stage. So we will try to enable the web services, the efforts or contents of web services. So to increase reusability and flexibility of the PTA service component, we decided to construct an administration module for it. Through administration module, an organization can dynamically set up or update the list of parameter types and the order of parameters for encryption. As we have seen in the last stage, that The major issue was we have to hard code the hash whether the hashing algorithm or anything, we have to hard code it into the PTA service. Now we have another module, that is administration module, that allows us to dynamically change that change that algorithm and also update that also for different services. So in addition, the interface between the PTA service and the administration module can be standardized. Furthermore, the administration module is highly reusable to all PTA services. We will see a diagram in the next few slides. It will be clear in that slide. So this administration module should be accessible via the internet, which seems to fit into the picture of web services, as it is not completely web service based to a web service based stage. It is web service enabled stage. So we are trying to fit into the picture of web services. As a result, we decided to adopt the concept of web services to implement the administration module. So the paradigm of web services mainly embraces three categories of supporting facilities. Whenever we try to follow the web services paradigm, we need three of the supporting facilities, that are the communication protocols, uh, the service descriptions, and service discovery. So each category possesses its ad hoc standard. So let's say as a SOAP, that is Simple Object Access Protocol for communication protocols, Web Service Description Language, that is WSDL file for service descriptions, and UDDI, that is Universal Description Discovery and Integration for service discovery. So SOAP, as we know that it is a simple and lightweight protocol for exchanging structured and typed information among the web services, whereas WSDL file is simply the service description, whereas UDDI stands for UDDI main purpose is to publish, register, and locate the web services within the system. So thus the architectural model between a PTA service and an e-payment system was altered. So we have changed the system a little bit. So as we can see here, so rather for every e-payment service, we have a PTA service, as we can see here, but we also have an administration module here in the left hand side, which is and as we can see here, the administration module and all the PTA services, all the PTA services for different e-payment systems has a common bus. We can say that it is a common bus which is shared. So the interface between the administration module and the PTA service is standardized. We have standardized a single interface between the administration and PTA service. So every deployed e-payment system is wrapped with a specific PTA web service. So for every e-payment system, we need a PTA service. So we wrap the PTA service over the e-payment system. So e-payment system becomes the backend for that, and PTA service comes in front of that, and those PTA services will interact with the administration module over the bus. And this is the standardized interface. So the e-payment system 1 with its corresponding wrapper PTA service 1, and the e-payment system 2 with its corresponding PTA service 2, and e-payment system 3 with its PTA service 3. Such an integrated system is referred to as a PTA enabled e-payment application. We have enabled PTA service for every e-payment system, and those PTA services can be administered through using this simple administration module, using the bus in between them. So the integration bus is introduced as a common communication channel or PTA-enabled e-payment application. For PTA-enabled e-payment application, the integration bus, we mean that the communication channel is based upon SOAP message exchange, and constructed web services is available from the UDDI registry. In addition, a PTA administration web service is constructed and shared by all the PTA-enabled e-payment applications. So that administration module will be accessible to every PTA enabled e-payment application. With the introduction of administration web services, this enforcement of the order of the parameter values does not have to be hard coded into the PTA service. We don't have to hard code that into the PTA service, because administration module can take care of that. Therefore, the reusability of PTA service is largely improved. So in summary, at this stage, we divided the service to be PTA component into two parts: an administration part and a wrapper part. As we have seen in the PTA service itself is a wrapper part. The administration part provides the capability of configuring and customizing of the PTA service, while the wrapper part provides the PTA service template that can be configured and customized for the given e-payment system. So this stage is an intermediate step of adopting web services technique. So while the compatibility with the emerging web services standards can be claimed by the architectural model in this stage, limited benefits are derived from such a solution. So this solution moves towards loose coupling, but there are limited benefits. We have limited benefits because all the PTA services has to be at the end has to be customized for the given e-payment system. So it has limited its benefits. Now coming forward to the third stage, that is our web services oriented stage. That is our final stage that we want to achieve. So as we accumulated experience of building a customizable PTA web service component at the second stage, we were ready to construct a PTA service component into a standalone web service. We want PTA service to be a standalone web service that any of the e-payment system can use that. So the architectural model of the project was redesigned. We have to redesign that model we have discussed in the stage 2. An integration bus is still used as a common communication channel for applications. However, we built a standalone PTA web service that is shared by all e-payment systems, either existing ones or future ones. So as we can see here in the diagram, we have the common bus from the stage 2, but the PTA services that we have for every of the e-payment system, we have constructed that it into a single module. So now we have a single PTA web service that and this single PTA web service will be used by all the e-payment systems. So here we can see that e-payment system 2, e-payment system 3, we can say that these are the new systems. They have an interface which can act directly with the PTA web service. Whereas the e-payment system 1, let's say it is an old system. It is an old payment system, so we can derive a wrapper for that e-payment system, which can be standardized with our PTA web service. So for every of the e-payment service, we can make an instance of our PTA web service within our service. So and along with that, we have our subcomponents also, that is administration support that will govern and manage our system. And another services that we have included in that is the thread management. So thread management, the main work of the thread management will be to balance the load within within the PTA service, so that we can perform and we can provide services optimally to all the payment services that are using it. So a PTA web service is constructed as a self-contained and well-defined web service, which is accessible via the integration bus. As we have seen, we have the integration bus there, and we are using SOAP as a communication protocol by all e-payment systems. If needed, each e-payment system registers itself at the PTA web service in order to obtain PTA services.
नेक्स्ट ऋषभ आपने बोल दिया, नेक्स्ट को अपॉर्चुनिटी दो.
ओके सर.
ओके.
Hello, is it visible, my screen, sir?
Yes, visible. Make it full screen, please. I want interaction. बाकी लोग पूछो बाबू. विकास, why अब खराटे क्यों मार रहे हो विकास? पूछो, कल रात भर पढ़े थे. चंद्रकांत, पटना में क्यों रास्ते में घूम रहे हो? पूछो. शुभम आपके इंतजार में है. Okay, start.
Okay, so up till now we've seen the introduction and the case study context been given by Andrela, and then case study that is explained in detail by Rishabh. So now we will see like the web service oriented engineering model that we have to inculcate in our project development of this case study. So let's first see the overview of this case study. The case study is of designing and developing a web service of PTA for 12 online electronic payment web applications. So the case study intends to investigate how the concept of web services can benefit the design of PTAs service and e-payment applications. Now these benefits and have been told by Rishabh and Andrela before only. So now in this part we will see that how can we transform this application oriented architecture into with having a model that will help us to make this process universal for making a web service based SOA application. So we will be looking at web service oriented engineering model. So what is the goal for goal? The goal is to construct an architectural model that can be reused to guide the design and development process of a web application utilizing web services as components. So we will be constructing architectural model that will help us to reuse the design and development process. So actually, there are chances that whatever PTS we have deployed at the moment, we need more PTS in the application that we are using, or there is a chance that we need to develop other application which will require the PTA web service. So for that, what we are doing, what we are trying to do is we have to design some process or model for web application development itself that will help us building web applications that are web service based, service oriented. So in simple terms, we can say that we are trying to extract an architectural model from the case study that we have seen up till now to facilitate the web service oriented web application development. So let's see. So first we'll see what a typical model of a web application development is. So a typical model of web application development can be seen over here. So in this, we have a three-tier architecture model of. So it has a front end, middle tier, and the back end tier. So what the front end has the client is the client tier that is used for managing the interface presentation and web page input output. The middle tier contains the business logic of the application, and the back end tier is used for storing the data in the database servers. So here we have the application servers in the business logic tier and the database servers in the database tier or the backend tier. So what are we trying to do now? Now, based on the experiences from the case study that we have seen up till now, we are adjusting the three-tier model into three-tier web application model into a web service based SOA model. It is so this web service based SOA model is organized as a three-tier structure. So the front end represents the interface of the application to the client. So the use of the front end or the functionality of the front end is same as what we have seen in the typical architecture model of a application. And it is the second tier is web service integration. So web service integration is used as a separate layer where web services components are integrated and plugged into the interfaces. So this helps us connecting the web service and the front end, integrate both the things. So, and the third tier that we have in this three-tier structure is the component repository tier. So this component repository tier contains software components that are needed for the application, or the software components, or we can say the web services that we will be integrating with the front end. So this is how the diagram of this web service based SOA is. So here you can see this is the front end, this is the web service integration, and this is the component repository. Now this component repository can be further explained because it is having inside it is having itself a different architecture. So we'll see about it now. So as shown in the figure, each web service component in the repository. So in this repository component repository, we will have different web services. So each web service component in the repository exhibits another three-tier structure. As you can see, this is another three-tier structure. So which will have a front end, it will have a web service tier, and it will have middle tier and backend tier. So the internal architecture model of the PTA web service is divided into three tiers: the front end, the web service tier, and the backend tier. Now, when we compare with the traditional three-tier model, the front end tier remains the same, and the backend tier contains the business logic tier as well as the persistent tier. So backend tier is where we have the business logic here. So now we'll see the engineering service oriented applications, engineering services oriented application. So based on the architectural model and experiences from the case study that we have formed up till now, an engineering process of developing service-based system can be extracted. So three essential steps had been identified. So the first step is identify which services to use from the web service, which web services to be used. Then use the WSDL specification of the web service to develop the code to bind the web service. So the WSDL will give us the information, as we have seen in our class and lab also. So WSDL file will give us the information regarding the how we can use the web service in our application. So to develop the code to bind the web service to our application, and we also use the WSDL specification of web service to develop code to invoke the web service also. So the WSDL specification will be used for both of these tasks. And now this work can also be, we try to summarize these steps in the form of process, in the form of phases, so that whenever we are trying to make some new application, we can follow this modular process. So we summarize the web service based application development process into three phases. The initial phase is the collection of requirements, followed by formalization of business requirements. So this is the diagram. This is the first two phases. We have three phases in this that we are designing in this model that we are designing, engineering process or model that we are designing. So in the first phase, we have the system requirement and the web services specification. So initial phase, collection of requirements, followed by the formulation of business requirements as a set of web services in the WSDL. So the business requirement that we have to include in the WSDL of our web service. The second phase is what contains the two parallel development process that focus on the front end of the web service and also the back end of the web service. Now, this can be performed separately or together by the developers. So it depends on the way we want to develop it. So as you can see in the second phase, we have the front end development and the back end development carried out. And then after that, we test that front end and the back end with the help of tools like SOAP-UI and Postman. So now web service based engineering process, we continuing this thing. The third phase that we have of the model that we have seen is like this. So the third phase, in this we have third phase also contains two parallel parts. The first part contains 4 steps. The part is the integration and development of web applications with normal web browser interfaces. The front end and the back end tiers are integrated through web service interfaces. So you can see the front end and the back end tier are integrated through the web service interface, so that there is no problem in communication between the front end and the back end. So this happens at the beginning of the phase 3. So the integration tests are followed accordingly, and the second part is deployment of the web application with the service interfaces together with the corresponding web service test. So it is integration testing, and then after that we have to deploy that web service. So now you can see the fourth step that we have this in the third phase is the management. So the fourth is the management of services. These 4 steps that we have seen, that is the integration testing, deployment and management, actually complete the life cycle of a solution of the life cycle of the solution that we are developing. So, and the third phase also have the second part, which has the web service itself. The second part is export to some backend functionalities as web services, which in general is composed of 3 steps. So what are these 3 steps? These 3 steps are that we have to identify the functionality to be turned into the web services, define the interfaces of web services, and organize the internal implementation of web services. So as we follow these 3 steps, we will be able to make an application which will be using a web service and an architecture which will be SOA based. So this is the whole phase diagram that we have seen. So with this, we can say that we have seen how can we design a engineering process which we can follow in any future development process of web application, and this process will help us to reuse our web services that we have seen in this case study. As we have seen the PTA web service, we have developed it. For the reuse of that, we can use this engineering process or method so that we can uh, use the reusability function of the web service that we've developed, and also we can make changes to it. That means it makes our process of development of web applications flexible and easy to do. So
Okay,
this
next.
is what I have. So now Siddharth will further discuss the use cases and the related work of the case study. Thank you.
Okay, okay, good.
So is my PPT visible?
Yes, make it full slide, make it full view.
Yes,
Slide
sir.
view, yes.
Okay.
Don't
So
put the page, listen, don't put
yes,
the
sir.
page number in first page, okay? It starts
Ye-
from the second page. So this page should have been number 1, okay?
Yes, yes.
So
Yes,
you'll
sir.
learn slowly, okay.
So in this case study, the introduction part and up till this web service oriented engineering model, it all has been discussed by Andrela, Rishabh, and Subham. So I'll be discussing about this use case discussion and all the related works, and finally I'll give the conclusion of this case study. So for this use case discussion, so how we're seeing this is right now is the lack of standardization and a structural model of web service based SOA and a web service oriented engineering process prevented quick adoption and slowed down the transition towards a web service based SOA within an enterprise application. So rather than one step at a time towards the direction, the process exhibits a sequence of 3 stages, and all these stages have been discussed before this before my presentation, and these stages are end-to-end integration, web service enabled, and web service oriented. So each stage is triggered by the introduction and acceptance of a new architectural model. And each stage is also characterized by an architectural mode adoption curve. So this diagram is what depicts the architectural mode adoption curve. The overlay of multiple adoption curves defines the overall adoption of SOA. This means, what do we mean by adoption curve? That number of customers that adopt a certain model in a certain period of time is what is depicted through a curve. So this overlaying of this multiple adoption curve give rises to the adoption of SOA. Then next, this Subham just described this phase. So we will now analyze the effort that has been made to implement this stage. So we will be doing a project effort analysis on this phase diagram. So for these 3 phases, we will be naming it as 3 stages. That is stage 1, stage 2, and stage 3. And in all these stages, we can see we have certain tasks. Like in phase 1, we have system requirement, web service specification. In phase 2, we have 4 tasks, and in phase 3, we have 4 and 1 task. So simultaneously, we will be doing a project effort analysis. So what is this? A project effort analysis summarizes the effort been spent. Yes, sir.
Siddharth, just
Yes, sir.
go back to the previous slide.
Yes, sir.
Previous. Yes, Chandrakant, what is the meaning of CHASM? CHASM. Chandrakant,
Yes, sir.
ये चस्म जो इंग्लिश रेड में लिखी हुई है, इसकी मीनिंग आपने पूछा नहीं, आप तो गधे निकले, पूछे नहीं सिद्धार्थ भैया को। आप खराटे क्यों मार रहे हो, क्यों रास्ते में घूम रहे हो, पूछे नहीं। इसका मीनिंग क्या है CHSM? हाँ, कितना दिन लल्लू बन के जियोगे हैं? कितना दिन लल्लुआ को जेल हो रहा है? जो इस तरह का अपने आप को बर्बाद करता है, बाद में रोता है। आप पूछते क्यों नहीं? इंसान क्यों नहीं बनते हो? What is that, Chasam? What do you mean by this? What it means? What is Chasam means? Separation. Separation. Any sort of separation or gap in the adaptation. What is that? What is that separation? मेरे को क्यों खुश लगी? What is that? What is that, Siddharth?
So this chasm that represents that in early adopters, there was a gap between the adopting new model. So the number of customers in that early adopters, those early adopters, they had a gap. So in that number, there was no adoption. That represents that. The chasm represents that.
So there was a strong gap in early adoption.
Yes, sir.
Some people accepted it, then some people rejected it. So in the process of rejection, the adaptation slowly got a gap.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. अब पूछो, सब पूछो बाबू, सब पूछो. Yeah, what is that gap? Gap चश्म का मतलब gap है, separation है. What is that separation? आप पूछो. चलो.
So what is project effort analysis? So project effort analysis summarizes the effort that has been spent on each task on the project. This analysis results tasks as in how much effort it takes to complete the task in person month. So person month is the unit to calculate an effort, as we all know that. So in this we have phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, and we have named it as stage 1, stage 2, and stage 3. So for the corresponding task, like if for task 1, the effort that took is for 2 person month, and respectively every task has its effort calculated in person month. So we will have a detailed analysis of this in the next slides. So here we have 3 stages, as I have told. So due to budget and time frame requirements, transformation from an application oriented architecture to a web services based SOA normally cannot be realized in one step, and hence we all needed 3-step realization, and that is end-to-end, web service, and web service enabled, and web service oriented. Next, we will be having an analysis of this table. So in the first stage of end-to-end integration stage, we performed 2 tasks in building a PTS service into 2 legacy e-payment systems. So in this first task, we did not consider much of the reusability aspect, and we took a lot of time gathering and eliciting requirements for a PTS service. So, and also the second task is similar to the first task. So some development time was saved. So then we will be looking for the stage 2, and stage 2 we have 4 tasks. So this stage 2, that is web services enabled stage, all 4 tasks built a web service enabled PTS service for 4 legacy e-payment systems that has been divided in 3 categories. So building time for the first e-payment system in each category was the same as 2 person months. The reason is that for each payment system constructing different facets of the PTS service, facet mean the front ends. So for different applications, we will have the same front end. We won't be making very different front ends. We'll just adjust something. So for that, the person months also decreases. So different facets of the PTS service took almost the same time to adjust to the specific requirements and environments for each category of e-payment system. And for the final stage, that is stage 3, that is web service enabled oriented stage, after a PTO web service was built, 3 tasks, that is from task 7 to 9. This is from task 7 to 9, from integration to management, from task 7 to 9, enable 3 legacy e-payment systems to utilize the PTO web service, and other 3 tasks, that is from 10 to 12, build the PTO web service invocation engine in 3 newly built e-payment system. So all these tasks require some of the effort, and in goal to analyze those effort, we require the unit of person month, and hence we created that table. So we can see that after the PTO web service was created, the time spent on building the engine in e-payment systems dropped significantly, as we have did most of the job now. Then let's come to the benefits that the concept of web services brought to the project. So first was service integration. When PTA service is implemented as a web service, its functionality is defined and fixed at the very beginning, and the communication interface between the PTA web service and the e-payment system is also predefined. Therefore, the integration between the PTA web service and an e-payment system is easy and simple. Why it is easy and simple? Because we have a service, we have all those values predefined, we have everything all written down, so hence the integration becomes very easy. And then we'll come to testing. Since the PTA service is constructed into a PTA web service to be shared by every e-payment system, so testing over the PTA service can be conducted at one centralized place and does not have to be repeated over every e-payment system. Therefore, web service based SOA facilitates the testing process. In legacy model, in old models, we face reusability issues. That is, it was limited. In legacy models, we have different models and there was no centralized place. So we have to do testing on every model. We have to do, so the reusability capability was very limited. And that's where SOA gives an upper hand. Then the next benefit is maintainability. Since all PTA service instances are managed in a centralized manner, maintenance also becomes much easier. In legacy systems, maintenance has to be done on each individual systems. The concept is same as for testing. Then the next benefit is for security. So isolating the PTA service as a web service and placing it on a separate server adds one more layer of security safeguard to the sensitive information contained in the PTA web service as well as the e-payment systems. So this separation of a web service from its invocation environment enhances the security. It means we have our web service at a different place and we're invoking those web service from a different plane. So and adding one more security layer in between enhances the overall security. Then the next benefit is of reusability. So PTA service is implemented as a self-contained web service. So each e-payment system that can independently invoke its service. Now, moreover, since the PTA web service is accessible via XML-based SOAP messages, an e-payment system implemented using different languages and running on different platforms can still reuse the same service. As you know, where there is SOA, there is the benefit of reusability, and there is no doubt of this. And then the last benefit is for central management. Since we have been seeing that the testing and the management, everything is based on this central management. So central management is also a benefit, because since the PTA service is implemented as a web service, any change to the PTA service only has to be conducted at the PTA web service site once and be applied to every e-payment system that uses the PTA web service. As we know, PTA is a one-time login system. So whatever management has to be done, it has to be done only once. Then we'll talk about web service based SOA model that has the following 4 merits that facilitates web engineering. We'll see the following 4 merits that facilitates the web engineering in a web service based SOA model. So first one is for developer rules. Now our architectural model enforces layered development. That is, we have been we know that we have been always developing models in layered versions. So development is distributed to multiple teams. Each team has a specific set of roles identified for developers, with each role requiring a set of skills. Now, the second merit here is of return of investment, ROI. So the isolation of the web service layer and the engineering of this service layer has the benefit of a better return on the investment made in the web application development. As examined, two options to implement the PTA service. First was developing the PTA service to be embedded into e-payment applications, and second was developing the PTA service as a separate web service. So that always gives us a better return on our investment. Then the third merit is code mobility. Now code mobility literally means that we can move our code irrespective of the platform. So the separation of the web service layer offers location transparency. The lookup and dynamic binding between the PTA service and an e-payment service means that the client does not care where the web service is located. The client has the flexibility to move services to different machines or to move a service to an external provider. And the final merit here is the parallelism in development. The benefit of multiple layers, as this parallelism in development and developer roles, these two merit always work in multiple layers. So the benefit of multiple layer means the multiple developers can work on those layers in parallel and independently. So this also enhances the execution time, the overall execution time of the project. So we'll talk about the limitations. We have talked about the benefits, we have talked about the merits. Now we'll talk about the limitations. So in this case study, we adopted a narrow definition of web service discussed by other person. So which has an implicit assumption that web services means that is use of SOAP and WSDL and UDDI. So this is the functionality of the web service as of we know right now. So now many agrees that it is imperative for successful web service to be trustworthy, because we always want our applications to be trustworthy. Now, which requires much broader attributes such as reliability, security, trust, fault tolerance, and orchestration. Now, the goal of this case study was to build a PTO web service that can be used by different e-payment systems, which was the first step towards a real web service oriented e-payment system. Therefore, this case study focused on exploring a way to turn part of the functionalities of a system into a web service. Now, in this project, we did not consider, this is where the limitation starts, that in this project, we did not consider how to make the PTO web service trustworthy. So this case study was all about using the SOAP, WSDL and UDDI. This case study did not show how to make this service trustworthy. That means adding the attributes, that is reliability, security, trust, fault tolerance, orchestration, and etc. Now, final point, in order for our web service enabled architectural model to work, it is necessary that the e-payment applications that rely on the PTA service are aware of the ontology used by the PTA service defined in WSDL. So what do we mean with this ontology used by the PTA service? So that means every e-payment application using the PTA web service will be coded in such a way that it knows the names of the operations and their associated parameter types. Otherwise, if this is not done, then whole service will fall down. So we will go for our pre-final topic, that is related works. So what are all the works that are related to this case study? So it has been extensively accepted that applying the concepts of web service and SOA in B2B applications leads to the future of business on internet. And the four elements that are identified as critical aspects for delivering a successful web service projects. Now, what are these four elements? These are scenarios. What is the scenario of our project? Then business process modeling, carefully scoped components, and flexible architecture and standard based interfaces. So with these four elements, our our delivery of a successful web service project is based on. Now, from the loosely coupling requirement of web services based design, it is concluded that a WSDL first approach should be utilized for web service development. Now, the approach starts from analyzing business requirements and design web service interfaces. So this case study also proposes an architectural model to guide a feasible services oriented design illustrated in an industrial case study, as this case study was all about an industrial case study. Now, this case study also focuses on how to build new functionalities as web services so that legacy system can be left intact. As in this whole case study, we have been seeing that how we can make the legacy systems work better, how we can compete with our legacy systems and make everything work just better. Now, for the final part, I will just give the conclusion of this whole PPT. So this project was a real life industrial case study over an ongoing project concerned with the design and development of a PTA web service for online e-payment applications. Also, we have been seen that in accordance with how a PTA service is developed and integrated with the corresponding e-payment systems, our strategies can be categorized in three stages. And these three stages, we have been reading all the PPTs, that is end-to-end integration, web service enabled, and web service oriented. Now, derived from real world industrial experiences, these three stages is a pathway that can be applied to a broad range of web applications to guide smooth transformations from an application oriented design and development model towards a web service model. So with this, I conclude this topic, and the reference has been taken from towards a service oriented development through a case study by Zia Zhang and the following members. Thank you.
Good, 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 good. It's a very good detail presentation. It's a big job. How the university started implementing SWA application for a particular purpose for PTA and SSO. So Well. We expect that similar type of assignments will be not assignments will be given. Whatever was the assignment in your previous semester, try to implement these fashion, these strategies, these steps in your job. You have to identify the requirements and slowly start implementing in your assignment whatever was given. After you return back, you have to show this. It's a very good paper. It's a very good article. So I wanted to give you a feeling that the similar type of job is to be done, is to be implemented by you. Very good. I appreciated it. One thing, just I wanted to go to the slide number 9 of Siddharth से पहले कौन था? Of कुलकर्णी का slide number 9. कुलकर्णी.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yeah, slide number 9. I was happy. मैं खुश हूँ. बहुत अच्छी पेपर है. जिन लोग को समझ में आएगी बहुत बढ़िया. गो बैक. ये बढ़िया आप दिखाए थे बाबू. 9 को जाओ. 9 बाबू. इसका पहले या use the WS specification of the web service to develop code to bind the web service. What do you mean by binding and how to develop the code? How you can automate the code development? क्योंकि बहुत बड़ी है ये huge project. मान लो कि किसका मैंने दिया था, मान लो कि पोर्ट मैनेजमेंट किसको दिया हूं. So it's a huge project. Can you automate the code development for binding the web service? Can you automate it? कुछ automation आप कर ही सकते हो. सोचो. अच्छा, what do you mean by binding the web service? मेरे को ये वर्ड बहुत अच्छी लगी. अंद्रीला, what do you mean by binding the web service? Andrila,
Yes, sir.
I appreciated the word bind. इसमें bind में क्या रस्सी लेके अमी की धागा नहीं करे बांधवो ना की. What do you mean by that?
That is how we can make the web service. How to so that we are able to invoke the web service from whatever application we are using. We should be able to form the connection so that we can invoke that web service from the application.
Anybody else? Siddharth?
So binding means basically connecting web services at an endpoint location.
Okay. There are some steps of binding. अभिषेक आपने बताया था ये binding. अभिषेक?
Yes, sir.
आप जरा एक्सप्लेन कर दो तो बाइंडिंग का मतलब क्या है?
Sir, actually, the same thing can be explained in different ways. So, in this PPT, they are using the different terminology. But in our lab sessions, we have discussed these things using the concept of that WSDL first contract approach. So let's share my screen first, then I can show you.
Okay. It's a very good word. Try to understand what you mean by that. How the codes help in binding. How you develop the codes in binding.
Yes.
How you develop the codes in binding.
Yes, sir. So suppose you have given a web service business process to develop, right? And the very first step is to go for service oriented analysis. and after performing this step, you will get this kind of architecture, right? We have already discussed these things. this kind of architecture. And now what we are doing, we are simply taking a single web service. Let's say I am taking this A web service, and now we are performing service oriented design. So in the service oriented design step, we have seen what we need to do. First, we need to define its interface, that is using WSDL, first contract approach. Right. In the calculator web service, we have already seen. First, we need to do messages. We need to create messages. Then we need to create operations. These whatever we have created, the messages and the operations, this comes under the WSDL, first contract approach, right? And when we have created the interface, you just need to code it, right? Using some APIs, like in Java we have Java WS, JAX WS for web service creation, and JAX RS for REST service creation. So when you code this interface using some particular APIs available in the Java, or you can say any other particular Python. So after that, you just need to use those WSDL links, right? Everyone?
Yes, chalo.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
We have already this since ये पेपर कब का था, किसी को मालूम है?
2015 का शायद, देख लो तो 2000 ये 2007 का
सर 2007.
यस सर, क्योंकि सर इसमें जो लिमिटेशन जो बताया गया है ना, जो WH ट्रस्ट का है और ये सब अब हमारे पास है.
अच्छा,
ये पहले नहीं था, उस वक्त नहीं था.
ये 2007 का है.
यस सर,
2007
यस सर.
It's a very good journal. IEEE transaction on SMC is a very good journal. Very good journal.
Major focus was of this case study was how to migrate from application oriented architecture to service based architecture.
Right.
Yes, sir. The major focus was on this one, and they are focusing on some limitations like trust, how to coordinate, how to orchestrate between the services. But now this kind of functionality are already available with us using some tools.
Good. We are telling that this subject is not yet mature. That means the research is going on constantly in this direction for improvement of the SWA application. This is the case study of 2007. Now 2021. So in the meantime, lot of changes, lot of progress, lot of thought process, lot of mindset, lot of research work has already been done. So so this paper is a little bit old, but I gave this topic because it gives a good idea how SWA is being implemented, different features. It gives an idea. I appreciate this paper, and those who have really understood it, they might have felt that yes, it's a good step, and how different changes are coming up slowly in our society, in our environment, in our research work. Okay, that's all. We are already delayed. That's all. ठीक है बाबू, ठीक है.
Sir, 1 minute, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, in this paper, they were only talking about the creation of the web services. Because at that time we have only the whatever the primitive SWA were there. But after that, we have come through that contemporary SWA, in which we have concepts of WS security and trust. Then that orchestration part comes into the picture after that in contemporary SWA.
Yes. Very good. This paper tells that they have not considered the trustworthiness.
Yes, sir. उस वक्त नहीं था WS ट्रस्ट जो कोऑर्डिनेशन था वो सब नहीं था उसमें.
इसमें नहीं था, उन लोग कंसीडर नहीं किए हैं, लेकिन नहीं करने से तो नहीं चलेगा ना. रिलायबिलिटी, सिक्योरिटी, ट्रस्ट, फॉल्ट टॉलरेंस, ऑर्केस्ट्रेशन. हम लोग तो ऑर्केस्ट्रेशन पर इतना जोर दे रहे हैं इतना जोर दे रहे हैं। तो ये सब कंसेप्ट नहीं था 2007 में। तो but it's a very good paper of that time. IEEE SMC is a very standard journal. So I wanted to give you just a feeling that उस समय 2007 में ये सब कंसेप्ट नहीं था। हम लोग शुरू फर्स्ट डे 1 क्लास में मैंने बताया था कि हाउ ऑर्केस्ट्रेशन इज नेसेसरी, कितना कितना ऑर्केस्ट्रा में कैसे कैसे म्यूजिक इंस्ट्रूमेंट को जोड़कर इधर से एक उधर से एक उधर से एक जोड़ करके कैसे म्यूजिक बनती है ताकि म्यूजिक अपनी इफेक्टिवनेस लाए, हाउ इट कैन ब्रिंग द इफेक्टिवनेस। तो ये सब कंसेप्ट उस समय नहीं थी। धीरे धीरे ये सब स्लोली दे आर बीइंग दिस चस्म, CHSM चस्म। उस समय वो जो गैप था, पीपल वर नॉट एक्सेप्टिंग इट, जो सेपरेशन थी, स्लोली पीपल अप्रिशिएटेड इट एंड स्लोली पीपल एक्सेप्टेड इट। ये जो गैप था, सेपरेशन था, उस समय की बात है ये। राइट ओके बेटे, ओके। ये अटेंडेंस ले लो, we'll have the class tomorrow. Just I wanted to give some feeling that how people do research and how the new concepts are coming up daily in this area. It's a very good area. अभिषेक भैया की जो इंटरेस्ट है आप सुन के खुश हो गए। He takes very much interest on cloud application, which is जिसकी की बैकबोन है स्वा। अभिषेक भैया का इंटरेस्ट है क्लाउड पर, एंड क्लाउड का जो बेसिक बैकबोन स्वा का ऊपर बेस है। सो things are changing, research is going on and it is still immature. Okay my children, bye. अभिषेक अटेंडेंस ले लो।
Okay.
Bye.
Okay, guys, attend your roll call first. Vikas Kumar.
Yes, sir.
Jitendra Gora.
Yes, sir. Present.
Asutosh Gupta. Easy will. Okay. Pratik Jaiswal. No. Pratik Jaiswal. Om Kulkarni.
Yes, sir. Present.
Mohammad Rekaz.
Yes, sir. Present, sir.
Nirmal Chandra.
Yes, sir.
Siddharth.
Present, sir.
Andrila.
Present, sir.
Somsekhar.
Present, sir.
Sab
Present, sir.
Vidyasagar. Is he available or not? Vidyasagar. Akshay Kumar.
Present, sir.
Rahul Sahu.
Present, sir.
Chandrakant.
Present, sir.
Rakesh Kumar.
Yes, sir.
Mahendra Kumar Sharma.
Present, sir.
Okay. Srilekha is absent, na? Okay, so I am repeating the names of absentees today: Asutosh Gupta, Pratik Jaiswal, Vidyasagar, and Srilekha. So guys, we will be continuing from tomorrow at same time, 4:15. Okay, bye. Thank you.
सर आज आप बोले थे सर बहुत
होना चाहिए था सर को क्या बच गए
अनएक्सपेक्टेड सर, एकदम अनएक्सपेक्टेड था। मैं तो सिर्फ एकदम